Balake. Where is Balake at?
My name's Blake.
Do you want to go to war, Balake? I'm for real. Ron.
Ron is here, everyone. Welcome back for more SPTV Late Night Edition, where every day's a great day not to be in a cult. Guys, let's talk about Leah Remini's lawsuit against Scientology, because there's some wild stuff going on here. Wild stuff going on, some wild stuff not going on, some unanswered questions. Is Scientology getting ready to settle with Leah Remini? Okay, so let's orient. Let's orient. How do we get to where we are right now? So, guys, there's a handful of lawsuits currently outstanding against Scientology and David Miscavige, its leader. Leah Remini's lawsuit was filed about a year and a half ago, and the lawsuit was basically suing them for interfering with her and her career and her sponsors and her income. Essentially implementing Scientology's fair game policies against Leah for everything she had done, to expose the family destroying human trafficking cult known as Scientology. And when this lawsuit was filed, I remember, it's an interesting thing, being a celebrity, Leah being a celebrity, a public person, it brings up First Amendment issues. First of all, Leah's got a right to speak out against this abusive organization. She got her freedom of speech. Now, really, the First Amendment has to do with a freedom from the government restricting your speech. You also have Scientology's freedom of speech. They're free to give their opinions about Leah. Leah's free to give her opinions about Scientology. Scientology's free to give their opinions about Leah. And so that was the free speech angle, the protected activity, the constitutionally protected activity is the defense that Scientology took in Leah Remini's lawsuit. They said, Leah is simply suing us for practicing constitutionally protected activity, and we want her lawsuit thrown out. Now, that type of defense, filing a motion with that type of defense, is called anti-SLAPP. SLAPP stands for Strategic Lawsuit Against Public Participation. It's a derogatory term. It basically means you're suing someone to harass them. If your lawsuit is labeled a SLAPP lawsuit, it means your lawsuit was just an attempt to use the legal system to prevent someone from practicing constitutionally protected activity. So the motion that you file to ask the judge to throw out a lawsuit on the basis that it's a SLAPP lawsuit is called an anti-SLAPP motion. And that is what Scientology filed against Leah about 1 year ago. They filed an anti-SLAPP, and they went item by item by item, cause of action by cause of action, complaint by complaint, making their arguments for how they thought these things that Leah was complaining about was constitutionally protected activity. Now, where things get dangerous in an anti-SLAPP motion on a lawsuit is that if you are found to have filed a SLAPP, strategic lawsuit against public participation, you are on the hook for the attorney's costs of the other side. It's not just everyone pays their own attorneys. You've got to pay for their attorneys. So if Scientology files an anti-SLAPP motion against Leah and they win, Leah pays all of Scientology's legal costs. And that's one of the reasons why Scientology has such expensive lawyers so that they can use this anti-SLAPP weapon to try to basically put the fear of God into people that you're going to be on the hook for millions and millions of dollars of attorney's fees. Okay, so the judge basically ruled 50% in favor of Scientology without going through the entire decision and the order and the filing. Basically it was 50-50. And consult your own lawyers, get your own opinions. The lawyers I've consulted with and the opinions that I have received is that the items, the complaints, the cause of action that the judge removed from the lawsuit were the ones that really gave the lawsuit teeth. And so whereas the lawsuit itself wasn't completely gutted, some of the real juicy items that, would have had big damages potentially tied to them were removed. So your mileage may vary on opinions from lawyers about, the status of the lawsuit at this point after everything that's been removed from it. But what then happened next is both Scientology and Leah Remini filed a notice of appeal. Scientology appealed because they were unhappy that the judge only found 50% in their favor. They wanted the judge to find 100% in their favor. So that was the basis of their notice of appeal. Leah Remini filed a notice of appeal that she was unhappy the judge found in favor of Scientology at all, and she wanted that reviewed. Now, guys, instantly, we are in hugely dangerous territory here because now we're up in the stakes. Remember, at this point, the stakes are who's going to have to pay attorney's fees. So the stakes are getting really, really high at this point. Now, when the judge made his ruling, he did tell Scientology's attorneys, technically, I have found in your favor. But because it's pretty much 50-50, you might be entitled to attorney's fees, but I'm not going to give them to you automatically. You're going to have to come back to me and you're going to have to argue why I should award you attorney's fees because it's not a done deal. It's not a sure thing. Now, because both parties filed notices of appeal, we have yet to hear any such arguments about whether Scientology wants attorney's fees, what their argument is for why, and how much they're going to ask for. Up until this point, though, this whole process of filing an appeal to me seemed a little performative, that Scientology was just going to rack up the attorney's fees on this appeal and roll the dice and hope that maybe the judge would on appeal would find completely in their favor, and they would be able to saddle Leah with $1 to $2 million of attorney's fees. Like that's my understanding of what the playbook has been for Scientology all this time. Here's the deal, guys. Scientology's deadline to file their actual appeal was February 6th. Now, guys, I may not know much. I mean, I grew up in a cult, but I'm pretty sure they're about a month late on their filing. And again, consult your own attorneys, get your own opinions, but you do not miss filing deadlines with appellate courts and just expect that they're going to make an exception for you. My understanding is that there is still a possibility that Scientology could come back and, show cause for why they couldn't file on time, ask for sort of a retroactive a granting of an extension retroactively. Like there's still a chance that they could do that, but I don't think that's what they're going to do, guys. I don't think that's what they're going to do because you know who else hasn't filed their appeal? Leah Remini and her team has not filed their appeal. Now, you guys can fact check me on this. In all the filings that I looked at today, it looks like Leah still has a few weeks to file her appeal, but it's been a fucking year. Okay. And it's been a year. So when Leah hasn't filed her appeal yet, and Scientology's already a month late filing their appeal, it seems like something else is going on. Could it be settlement negotiations? Maybe. Now, one of the other major lawsuits currently ongoing against Scientology and David Miscavige, also against Danny Masterson, by the way, is the lawsuit known as Bixler versus David Miscavige, Scientology et al. And it's a lawsuit brought by a number of Danny Masterson's victims and some family members for the stalking, harassment, intimidation, fair game, all that good stuff that Scientology subjected them to since coming forward. Again, this lawsuit that we're talking about has nothing to do with the actual abuse the Jane Does experienced from Danny Masterson. It has to do with the harassment they were subjected to since coming forward more recently. I think the lawsuit might have been 2016. I'm a little shaky on the dates right now. Okay. Scientology also fought that lawsuit with an anti-slap. They said, what? These victims are claiming that we're stalking, harassing, threatening, intimidating, slandering, defaming them online. What? Your Honor, that's constitutionally protected activity. Didn't you hear? And Scientology literally filed a motion saying it was their constitutionally protected activity to subject Danny Masterson's victims to all this various forms of harassment. Now, finally, you guys, the judge in this case took Scientology's lawyers behind the woodshed, bent them over a barrel, and gave them what was coming to them because the judge 100% ruled against Scientology and for the Jane Does. And not only did he rule against Scientology, he issued a scathing order, essentially, practically, if my memory serves me correct, accusing them borderline of conspiracy and all sorts of good stuff. Well, Scientology also filed a notice of appeal in that case. And that appeal is due in about 7 days. And still, not a peep. Not a peep. And so what is going on here? What is going on in Scientology litigation land? And now, just like I'm talking about in Leah's case, it's Scientology who missed their deadline, and Leah hasn't filed an appeal yet. In the case of this other lawsuit, the Jane Does didn't file a notice of an appeal. They don't have an appeal filing due. There was nothing for them to appeal. The judge found completely in their favor. So what's going on over there? What are Scientology's lawyers doing over there? How are they earning their high fees? By going over there, missing deadlines, not making filings. Something suspicious is going on, you guys. I want to know. Hey, you guys, the lawyers in the audience, let me know in the comment section down below. What could be going on here? What are the various possibilities? Okay, let me see. Is there anything else I wanted to say about this? No, I wanted to get this on the record because I feel like there's gonna be some news about what's happening. Well, in both of these lawsuits soon, and I at least wanted to get this on the record for now. Okay, guys, that's it. It's getting late. That is all for me today. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, and I will see you tomorrow.
Okay, if you want to see my rock and roll songs, click right on this guitar. And if you want to see a different one of my videos, then you could click right inside here. If you have subscribed or not,